All right, ignore that. I have to put that back up. But welcome to my predictions for UFC Mexico Moreno versus Kavanagh. Originally supposed to be Moreno versus Almabayev, I think, but Almabayev pulled out. And Loner Kavanagh has stepped in, but we'll get to that. Let's start off with Damian Pinas versus Wes Schultz. Now, I was back and forth on this, but I am going to go with Damian Pinas. I think either man honestly has just as big a chance to win as the other, but for the sake of a pick, I'm going to lean Damian Pinas because he has a bit more power in his hands. He's a bit stronger. He's faster. I just think he's a lot more athletic, and I just think in a matchup as close as this, the athleticism of Damian Pinas will be enough to beat Wes Schultz. Wes Schultz isn't horrible, but Damian Pinas is just much more athletic, and his punch power is a lot better. So we're gonna side with him over Wes Schultz. Yeah, why not? Let's go with Damian Pinas. Eric Silva versus Francis Marshall. I gotta go Francis Marshall. Eric Silva isn't that good. He doesn't really have any notable wins. Francis Marshall don't really too much either, but I think Eric Silva, right? Didn't he get KO'd in the first round by one of the Middle Eastern guys? I know exactly who I'm trying to think of, but his name isn't coming to my brain right now. The guy that robbed Nathaniel Wood. And yeah, he robbed Nathaniel Wood. That's who I'm thinking of. Yes, Naimov. Yep. And Francis Marshall lost to, but had a very close fight with Marian Santos. Yeah, a lot of people thought Marshall won that fight, and then he lost to Bulgarian, lost to Gomez. Like, dude, these are not bad losses. Beat Marcelo Rojo, lost to William Gomez. A lot of people do lose to William Gomez. And then he lost to Isaac Bulgarian. Isaac Bulgarian is a really good fighter, and only loses when he's paid to. And then he beat Buzuk. I don't really know who that guy is. And then lost to Marin Santos. So I'm definitely going to be going with Francis Marshall here. Better wins and more understandable losses. Naimov is okay, but it's his only performance in the UFC. He has no wins, whereas Francis Marshall has some wins in the UFC, and his losses are far more understandable. So I'm gonna go with Francis Marshall for sure. For sure. I'm going Francis Marshall. Moving on to Regina Taryn versus Ernesta Karek, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce her name. You gotta go Regina Taryn here. She's just better. She's just a better fighter. She's a better striker. She's a better grappler. She's faster. She's a finisher as well. Which is just one thing. Regardless on if I thought technically she wasn't, even if I thought she wasn't technically better, which I do. Just the fact alone that she's a finisher as a WMMA fighter is enough for me to put enough confidence in you to win, because that's rare in women's MMA nowadays, is being a true finisher. And I know, obviously, the competition, she hasn't been in the UFC, but I mean, still a lot of UFC women's fighters probably wouldn't finish a lot of these girls anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go with I think you gotta go with Regina Taryn. I'm gonna go with her by finish. I'm gonna actually take her by knockout probably in round 2, something like that. But yeah, this girl, I watched like a few fights on her. Yeah, she beat Cagliari, but then she lost to Barbosa. Yeah, that's right. You know, just not too impressive, honestly. Just not too impressive. Whereas Regina Taryn, much more impressive, much more skilled. I think she's just gonna get in there. Why they ain't showing any of her stats here, man? I want to see some of her stats. They have her picture there, but then when you click on her name, it's nothing. But there she goes. 7-0, man. Okay. I think she's quite impressive, man. I think she's quite good. I'm gonna go with her. Get Ernest out of there. Round 2 KO. Moving on. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. Can we get the... I'm going to go Javier Reyes. Okay? He's like, what, 30, 31? Douglas Silva de Andrade, I think he's like 41 or something like that. It's like a 10-year age gap here. Douglas Silva de Andrade is slow, man. Slow and old. You know, his last fight, he lost to Miles Johns, you know? Beat Cody Stamen, who's never anything. Lost to Saeed Nurmagomedov. Beat Morozov. Then lost to Laurent Murphy. There you go. But you know, he's just old, slow. Whereas Javier Reyes is more or less in his physical prime. Stronger as well. And I just don't like trusting 40, 41-year-olds at featherweight to get a win. This is a layup for Javier Reyes in his UFC debut. So, we're going with Javier Reyes, man. We're going Javier Reyes we'll go decision, man. Douglas Silva de Andrade is hard to finish, man. So, I ain't gonna bet by knockout, but I do think he's going to get Douglas Silva de Andrade. I do think Javier Reyes is going to win. So, by decision, I'll say. Christian Quinones versus Chris Moutinho. I would love to see Chris Moutinho get a win here, man. And I think I might pick him. I was doing some tape watching of Christian Quinones. And man, he's horrible, bro. Got finished by Barcelos. Fair enough. Lost to Kang. Got finished by him as well. Got finished, and then got a finish over Taha. I don't know who that is. Man. But Chris Moutinho is what, 0-3 in the UFC? God, he got KO'd by Canetti. And he got killed by Wellmaker. To be real, though, I don't think... Press the wrong button. Damn it. I'm going to be real here. I don't think Quinones beats any of these guys. I think O'Malley, obviously, Canetti, and Wellmaker all beat Quinones as well. But then again, Barcelos. I'm going to go with Chris Moutinho. This could backfire so bad. Because Chris Moutinho sucks. But so is Christian Quinones. And if Chris Moutinho is ever going to get a win in the UFC, it would have to be against somebody like Christian Quinones, man. So, I don't really know what kind of attributes Chris Moutinho has over Christian Quinones. Christian's bigger. Christian is stronger. got the reach. Probably weighs a bit. No, I guess he weighs. It says he weighs 1 pound less here on the weight, but I don't know how much to trust that. I am gonna go with Chris Matinho though, just for the vibes. Just for the vibes, we're gonna go Chris Matinho. I don't want. I would never realistically really pick either of these guys to really beat anybody. So given that they're matched up against each other, I'm gonna just pick for vibes. I'm gonna go Chris Matinho by decision. I feel like this is gonna be a fun fight. I have a sneaky suspicion this is gonna be a very fun fight of them just scrapping back and forth, hurting each other, or maybe dropping each other. I'm gonna go with Chris Matinho by decision. But next on, Aylin Perez versus Macy Chiasson. Aylin Perez is gonna submit her. Let's be real. Macy Chiasson is not all that. I know a lot of people like to hate on Aylin Perez for her grappling or for her twerking and all of that. But let's be real. Aylin Perez is pretty damn good. She is good. She's a good grappler, good submission skills. She's got power in her hands, deceptive power in her hands. She dropped Jocelyn Edwards, and Jocelyn Edwards is a beast. She's on like a 3 or 4 fight finishing streak, and she just got to finish the very last card. Aylin Perez put the beats on her. Like, Aylin Perez is very good. She's one of the best in the division, and Macy Chiasson's on like a losing streak. They're giving her to Aylin Perez for her to get a win in Mexico, even though she's Argentinian. But I think, personally, Aylin Perez is going to dominate Macy Chiasson round. I think she's going to drop Macy Chiasson in the first round and then submit her in the second. So, yeah, Aylin Perez is just levels above Macy Chiasson. So, that's how I see the fight going. Moving on to Ryan Gadera versus Jose Daniel Medina. I'm going Ryan Gandra. He's not great himself, but Jose Medina can't fight, and he can't beat anybody. You know? If Jose Medina fought Cedric Dumas, that would be the single-handedly least skillful fight the UFC's ever seen. I don't know who I would pick there. But Ryan Gandra, he's bigger, stronger, got more power, you know. I just see him going in here and just kind of bulldozing his way through Jose Medina. Now, Jose Medina typically is pretty tough. Not the easiest guy to knock out, even though he got knocked out in the first round by, again, when I'm recording, names flank on me. If I wasn't recording, I would remember his name instantly. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Ryan Gandra by, I'm gonna say, round 3 knockout after putting the beats on Medina for the first 2 rounds pretty easily. But he's just gonna beat the shit out of Jose Medina, man. Ryan Gandra's not great, but he's better than Jose Medina, and that's really all you need in this matchup. So, Ryan Gandra, round 3 knockout. Santiago Luna versus Angel Pacheco. Santiago Luna's winning. He's much faster. He's a much better striker, much slicker on the feet, and he knows his way around in grappling scenario as well. So if Angel feels like he wants to grapple, man, I would highly advise against it. In the UFC, he lost to Colin Logrein, who is dog shit, man. Dog shit. Colin Logrein is awful. Angel is horrible. He's slow. He's got no boxing. He's got no grappling. He doesn't have anything to his game. Santiago Luna is very good. Crisp on the feet. He's a great boxer. Just got lead up on out of here when he fought him. This is a layup. I mean, I don't really have to say much more about it. It's a layup. They gave Angel to Santiago Luna as a sacrificial lamb to get a beautiful first round KO in Mexico, where Santiago Luna's from. So, this is just one of those favorable matchmakings for the Mexicans because they want him to do well on this card. But you give them someone like Angel, and that's what you're gonna get, a beautiful stellar KO in the first round. Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Now this one's interesting because Kevin Borjas is very tricky for a lot of guys. Very tricky for a lot of guys. People forget, man, Kevin Borjas went to war with Joshua Van. He did. He's very tricky, but Emmanuel Rodriguez, I feel like we can trust him to get Kevin Borjas out of here. Because Kevin Borjas, although he is tricky, if you get a step ahead, he does tend to stay behind. As we've seen in his last performance against Sumodarji, who I picked Kevin Borjas to beat. It was a horrible prediction because Kevin Borjas was one step behind, and he stayed there. Emmanuel Rodriguez he's a physical beast for 125, an absolute beast physically. He's quick as lightning. He's got crazy hands, crazy power. He's got grappling. He's got submissions. Emmanuel Rodriguez is a complete package fighter, man. He's a complete package. Emmanuel Rodriguez is very good. He's only got one submission, but he's impressive. He's very impressive. I remember watching him on the Contender Series and being very impressed by Emmanuel Rodriguez. So I feel like I can trust him to be a step above Kevin Borjas and keep him there. I'm gonna actually go with Emmanuel Rodriguez by finish, by knockout in round 2. I will say by Emmanuel Rodriguez. But Kevin Borjas is tricky, man. Don't be surprised if he makes Emmanuel Rodriguez have a bad performance. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm gonna go Emmanuel Rodriguez. Next up, Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Bunes. Felipe, another layup for a Mexican. That's what it is. Felipe Bunes is awful. Not UFC level at all. He's got no chin. His striking is awful. His grappling is awful. And Edgar Chairez is good. I see Edgar Chairez doing really well in the division. He's much better than his record suggests. Whereas Felipe Bunes is worse than his records. They both fought Joshua Van. And Edgar Chairez is much better. Edgar Chairez hurt Joshua Van on multiple attempts. Felipe Bunes didn't have a single thing to offer Joshua Van. So Edgar Chairez is going to get in there, and he's going to get a first-round finish, whether it be by KO or submission. I don't know. He can do either. It'll just be up to him. I'm just going to say it's a first-round finish. Easy for Edgar Chairez. There will be no difficulty here for Edgar Chairez. Moving on to Daniel Zellhuber versus Bobby Green. This is going to be a hot take for me, but I am going to be picking Bobby Green. I debated this to myself a bit, but I can't pick Daniel Zellhuber. I'm going with Bobby Green. Daniel Zellhuber is... he's just not that good. And I see unfortunately for Daniel Zellhuber, I do think this is an attempt at a layup. The UFC probably said, Daniel Zellhuber, let's give him Bobby Green, thinking this would be a layup. But real ones know. Real ones know Bobby Green's going to get this one done. Daniel Zellhuber has no KO power. He doesn't have a single KO in the UFC. I don't even know if he has any knockdowns. He might have flash knocked down. You know what? I think he did knock down Esteban Ribovics with an elbow. But That might be his only knockdown. But Daniel Huber, the weakest part about his game is his boxing. And that's why I can't trust him here. I think to beat Bobby Green, I mean, you really just got to go in there and just kind of chin him, right? Because Bobby Green's got a weak chin, but you can't, it doesn't matter who you put him in there with. You can't trust Daniel Huber to chin him, to chin anybody. So, I have to go Bobby Green. I can't. I know Bobby Green. Bobby Green can lose. Bobby Green can always show up and lose. But Daniel Zellhuber has got no power. He's got a. I keep yawning. Daniel Zellhuber has got just as much power as a women's strawweight, man. I'm telling you. No power. He doesn't really do too much pressuring. He fights on the back foot mostly, fights defensively, and Bobby Green, with how slick his hands are, I could just see Bobby Green walking Daniel Zellhuber down. And Michael Johnson beat the shit out of him. Michael Johnson dropped him. And I know Michael Johnson's got faster hands than Bobby Green, but I think on a technical boxing level, I think Bobby Green's hands are better than Michael Johnson. So I'm gonna go with Bobby Green. I just think he's gonna be able to eat the shots of Zellhuber, which is the biggest thing here. He's gonna walk Zellhuber down and just beat him up with his boxing, because his boxing is much better. So I got Bobby Green here. I'll go Bobby Green by decision, though. I'll go decision, because Daniel Zellhuber is tough. He could take a beating, man, as we've seen against Ribovics, man. If Ribovics ain't getting you out in that flurry that he did, I don't know if Bobby Green's going to get you out of there. But he is going to beat him. Co-main event, Marlon Chito Vera versus David Martinez. I'm not going to say a layup, but Chito Vera, I'm just going to put it simple. Chito Vera's a loser. He's just a loser. He loses fights. It's what he does. He's a loser. David Martinez is going to win because Chito Vera just loses. He's so accepting of a loss. There's really no other way to put it. He doesn't do enough. He never does enough. He never tries enough. He goes in there. He's a punching bag for 3 rounds. That's the fight. And that's been Chito's career for the past, I don't know how many years. What's his last win? Pedro Munoz? David Martinez would beat the shit out of Pedro Munoz. David Martinez is faster, bigger, more power. He's not going to finish Chito Vera, because that's one thing that Chito Vera will always have, is his durability. He's an absolute freak when it comes to his durability. But David Martinez is going to clean sweep him 30-27. Because that's what Chito Vera does. Hey, I'm ready to be a punching bag again. Who wants to be a punching bag for David Martinez? Me, says Chito Vera. Who wants to be a punching bag for Eamon Zahabi? Me. Who wants to be a punching bag for Corey Sandhagen? Me. Who wants to be a punching bag for whoever else he lost to? Sean O'Malley? Me. I don't know. For me to pick Chito Vera in a fight again, he either has to show me that he has to show me that he's capable of being picked, or they have to put him in there against like an unranked bum. And David Martinez, let's not forget, other than the knockdowns, man, Rob Font was beating the shit out of Marlon Vera, and David Martinez beat up on Rob Font. So when Chito Vera stops showing me that he's nothing but a punching bag, I'm going David Martinez all day. By decision. Moving on to the main event, Brandon Moreno versus Loner Kavanagh. You got to go Brandon Moreno. Loner Kavanagh is good, and I do think he's the future of the division, but Just not yet, man. Brandon Moreno's he's still here. He's still the guy that won the rivalry against flyweight Davis and Figueiredo. He's still the guy that finished Kai Kara France. He's still the guy that went 5 hard 5s with Alejandro Pantoja. He's still that guy, man. Loner Kavanagh's good, but especially on short notice, Brandon Moreno's the greatest Mexican MMA fighter of all time. And he's still young himself. He's like 30, like young 30s, I think. Loner Kavanagh is also weak to the body. Jose Ochoa exposed this. Michael Johnson even had some success. Not Michael Johnson, Charles Johnson. And Loner Kavanagh is weak to the body, man. And Brandon Moreno finished. He has just great body work in general. He finished Kai Kara France with a body kick, and he was working the body of Figueiredo in all their fights, man. He has really good body work. Body shots are beautiful. Body kicks, you know. He's also a better grappler than Loner Kavanagh, so if he wants to get this to the ground, he probably will be able to. He's faster than Loner Kavanagh. I mean, there's really not much that Loner Kavanagh has here over Brandon Moreno. Brandon's fast. Loner Kavanagh might be a bit more powerful, just like raw power, but Brandon Moreno has dealt with Figueiredo's power and, Pantoja's power and Brandon Royval's power. All these guys have more power than Loner Kavanagh. But Brandon Moreno's faster. His boxing is probably a bit better. His grappling is better. He's got the experience. Former champion. I can't in a logical sense pick Loner Kavanagh in this fight. Even with a full camp, I couldn't pick him against Moreno. So definitely not short notice. Brandon Moreno is just a better mixed martial artist than Loner. And if Loner pulls this off, Charles Johnson's the GOAT. Let's just call it what it is. Nah, Loner Kavanagh was beating up on Charles Johnson for 2 rounds before, for like a round and a half before he got killed. It's what Charles Johnson does. But Brandon Moreno, he's too good. That's my cat. He's too good. Going with him. I might pick up by finish, man. This is 5 rounds here. And the body of Loner Kavanagh is there to be hit all 5 rounds. I might go Brandon Moreno by finish. Gonna be real here. Albazi sucks, but he's never been finished. So it's not too bad that Moreno didn't finish him. Steve Erceg is decent as well, I guess. Moreno doesn't really get many finishes, does he? But I just feel like the inexperience of Loner Kavanagh and the fact that he's definitely going to be hurt to the body here a lot. I mean, getting hurt to the body will help Moreno get a KO or a submission. I really don't know if I want to go finish for Moreno, though. A lot of people I was talking to have Brandon Moreno by sub, though. But I don't know. This is the hardest choice on the whole card for me. If I want to go Brandon Moreno by decision or finish. Because, I mean, I know Moreno's winning. I just don't exactly know how the method is. I'm gonna go finish. I feel like he's gonna finish Loner Kavanagh. I'm gonna go submission. I'm gonna go Brandon Moreno by submission. He's gonna hurt Loner Kavanagh to the body every round, and each round it's gonna get harder for Loner Kavanagh to defend takedowns and to move around. And I think around round 4, I'm gonna go round 4 submission for Brandon Moreno. He's gonna hit Loner Kavanagh to the body with a body kick similar to the Kai Kara France one, and he's just gonna go down, and Moreno's gonna grab the back and cinch up a rear naked choke. Davison Figueiredo is a better grappler than Loner Kavanagh. If he can submit prime flyweight Davison Figueiredo, I feel like within 5, he can probably get Loner Kavanagh out of there. So that's my official prediction. Loner Kavanagh, no, Brandon Moreno, round 4 submission. Let's go over the card real quick. Give all my takes again. Damian Pinas, decision. Francis Marshall, submission. I think I said. Regina Terran, knockout. Javier Reyes, decision. Chris Matinho, decision. Alan Perez, submission. Ryan Gandra, decision. Round 3, KO. Santiago Luna, KO. Emanuel Rodriguez, decision. No, he's gonna get a KO. He's gonna get a KO over Kevin Borjas. Edgar Chairez, first round finish. Just either method, I think I said. Bobby Green, I'm not calling you king. Bobby Green, decision. David Martinez, decision. And Brandon Moreno, submission, round 4. Hopefully I didn't change any of my predictions that I had originally said when I was talking about them. But those are I'm going to drop my underdog of the week later tonight as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this. Hopefully I have a good card, man. I need a better year of picks than last year. So we're going to go for that. Those are my picks. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.